Hi, welcome to Salon Talks. My name is Nardos Haile, and today we're here with Latrice Royale. You may know her from RuPaul's Drag Race. Season 4 of HBO show We're Here, and you may know her from being on the stage as a fabulous queen. Latrice, how are you?
I'm amazing. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you for being here.
Oh, my pleasure.
Okay, so we're just gonna dive right in, and we're gonna talk about the show. What really got you involved in doing it, and what drew you in?
Oh my goodness, I've been a fan of the show since, inception. But basically, when I got the call and they were doing the recasting of the queens, I was in talks, and they were still, experimenting on how they were going to proceed, and they just wanted to make sure that I was on board in whatever capacity they wanted to use me. So when they finally figured out what they needed and wanted, they gave me the call and said, "We need your voice, we need your perspective. Are you willing to come in?" I'm like, absolutely. I was in Vegas at the time when they called, finishing up my residency there. And so it was exciting because I was gonna go straight from Vegas. I had like a week and a half. And then I was going right to filming for We're Here. Straight to Oklahoma? Straight to Oklahoma.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
It was very exciting.
Absolutely. Yeah. And Bartlesville.
Not so exciting.
Exactly. We're gonna get into it. So Bartlesville effectively had banned drag at that point. What's that experience like? You're going into filming, I guess, doing this residency that's, I'm sure, really accepting, a great audience, and then straight into Bartlesville where there's tension, Oklahoma where there is tension. What is filming that like behind the scenes?
Well, it was shocking to see that they had been so beaten down. They had really lost all will to fight. They had kind of given in to the pressures and the oppression and the haters, and they were tired. And so they kind of made a deal with the devil that if people kind of left them alone, they would not have drag or a pride situation. And so that was really sad. Really sad because the OK Equality of Bartlesville, who is that's the voice of the people, and they were the ones asking us not to come. And so that was a little shocking and jarring, but we came anyway because that's what we do. But we found out, as you'll see, that this community needed us. They just needed a push to know that they are worth the fight, and they were reinvigorated and galvanized and very supportive.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I mean, most of the constituents across these cities were really afraid of the backlash because of the controversy that drag was bringing to each city. Can you speak to that experience? What was that like, seeing people so scared?
It's wild because, in Bartlesville, we could not find one business to let us film inside of their place. We had to find a park bench outside on the public, so we can even have a conversation. But the fear of losing their livelihood just by even being associated with a show like We're Here, the backlash and the fear that they'll lose everything. So rather than do that, which I understand, they just chose not to participate. And it was quite whoa. No one here is going to, and it was they were nice to your face. They were pleasant,
right?
But they're going to decline. And it was just wild.
Yeah. Why was it important though, as a cast and as a show, to go to this place, or just places in general where there are queer communities, but maybe they're not visible or as hyper visible? Yeah, why do you feel like that was important to go there?
Well, the show We're Here, the title says it all, and going into these small towns and these rural areas is proof that queer life is everywhere, and it's your neighbor, it's your friend, it's your family. You can't get rid of queer people. And so to be able to live comfortably, out and proud and authentically in places like this is important because people want to feel safe. And that's all. They want to feel happy and safe and just live their life in harmony. And for some reason, you know, there's a lot of religion. There's a church in every corner in Bartlesville, so that had a lot to do with it. So that the whole separation between church and state does not exist. It's definitely blurred lines, and religion has a tendency to run the rules of life there.
And I mean, your roots are in California and in Florida. Was it surprising to you to find this sense of community in Oklahoma?
A little bit. You know, I performed in Oklahoma like years ago back in Tulsa, and it was lit. I was completely surprised that they had even a whole scene.
Yeah.
But then you travel 45 minutes outside of Tulsa into Bartlesville, and you're just like, we have stepped back in time. We have definitely done a time warp, and these people are a lot different and not so welcoming to, they're welcoming as long as they don't know. Like you don't have to, if you're not being flamboyant and you can blend in, you're good.
I mean, you mentioned religion, religion playing a large role in the reason why people are so afraid and maybe the tenseness of the environment. Can you speak to your own personal relationship with religion? I know that you really go through your own personal journey in the show. So yeah, how do you reconcile queerness and religion?
That was a struggle. It was, and you know, it was a struggle even up until the moment I walked into the church for me, because as youth, as a young person, I grew up in the church, very active in the church. I was on the usher board, I was in the choir, youth, young adult choir. I was all up and through the church, and I loved it. But as I got older and started understanding the word that the minister was preaching, I started to feel a disconnect, because now I feel like I don't fit in here anymore. And so as I got older and started struggling with my sexuality, it definitely affected my faith and the turmoil of and conflict of knowing that I was gay or queer and keeping my faith. And that was hard. And it wasn't until I was arrested and went to prison that I reconnected with my faith again, because it's nobody but you and God up in jail. You know what I mean? You're going to find something to believe in, you know what I mean, to get you through it. And I had lost my mother at the same time. So like everything, my world had came to an end. And so like reconnecting with God, with what I call God, was important to me. And I got through that situation, rebuilt my life, found out my purpose, started walking in my purpose, and changing other people's life through my own testimony. And that's how I reconnected with my faith. And now I'm not religious, I'm very spiritual. And I have a very, very strong connection with my faith, because I know where my blessings come from, and I wouldn't be here without the help of God. So now I have something to battle and conflict these Christians with, you know, like, don't tell me, you will not argue me under the table about religion, faith, God, because the God I know got me here. So don't tell me I'm the abomination and I'm going to hell, because I'm highly blessed and highly flavored.
Period. And you know, I love that. And I think that much is showcased in you have this moment in a church where a preacher is, you know, basically preaching acceptance, and it's the first time you've heard this, and you cry. What emotions did that stir up for you?
Well, the truth of the matter is, like, production, the Queens, no one knew that I was going through this internal struggle just 10 minutes prior to walking to the church. I didn't want to go in. Not in drag. I thought I was strong enough and willing enough, but as we were getting closer to walking in, I knew I looked the part, I looked great, and I was, you know what I mean? But those voices came back, that I was making a mockery of God, and I was playing in his church, in his house and tabernacle, and I was going to hell for this, and what am I doing? And I had to shout those voices down. And really remember what my purpose was and walk through those doors. And then when I did, I felt this overwhelming sense of relief and welcome. And then to hear this man the man of the cloth use words like drag ministry. Oh my goodness, that was just it for me. Yeah. That's all I do. My drag is my ministry. And for him to affirm all of that was everything.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, clearly your purpose is to serve people through drag, right? Yeah. But drag has become this very contentious battle in the US with don't say gay laws, drag story hour being banned. How does this affect the larger drag community and also you as a performer?
You know, it's unfortunate because there's so many different facets of drag, and the biggest thing that the conservatives are doing and the opposition is doing is sexualizing what we do, and there is nothing sexual about what I do. I don't do that type of drag, you know what I mean? I'm a classy lady. I'm a woman of faith, you know what I mean? Like all these things, but there are different types of drag, just like there's different genres of movies and music. You do what's appropriate, and we are very, very sensitive to where we are and what the conditions are and who our audience is, and we act accordingly. And for some reason, people don't see that part, and we are here to dispel all the myths, all the misinformation, all of that propaganda that they're spreading, and put an end to that.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that you're doing that clearly, and you have this power, and you were ranked actually as one of the most powerful drag queens.
Oh, look at me.
In America. I mean, come on, look at that face. Exactly. Yeah, you were ranked as one of the most powerful drag queens by New York Magazine. How does it feel to wield that much power? Does it feel like it's a burden? Is it a responsibility? Yeah.
There's a huge responsibility in what we do and how we move, especially now, because there is definitely watchful eyes on everything that we do, everything that we say. And I'm not editing myself. I am definitely being authentic and 100%. But I am mindful that, you know, there are people who are trying to eradicate us and make what we do illegal. And I'm not having it because I owe everything to this art form. I wouldn't be sitting here without this art form. I was able to regain my power through the art of drag. I was able to regain my life through the art of drag. So I will defend it to the end. So we're not going nowhere. I promise you, as long as I have air and breath in my body, I'm gonna be doing this.
What does it feel like to be that kind of like symbol of representation? Or is this just you being you?
A lot of it is me being me. My mother was a person that helped others, and we had people live with us my whole entire life. Like she would take people in like stray cats, but like no one was gonna go hungry or homeless on her watch, and that's just what she did. And she was always positive. She always looked for the brighter side of things and the lessons and the things that did not go well, and try to persevere through them. And that's how I live my life as well. And knowing that I am affecting people positively through my story and my experience is amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, someone did that for you at your first drag show
100%.
in Las Vegas, right?
Yes.
And it came full circle.
It really did.
As you performed in Las Vegas. How did that feel? Was it a full circle moment for you?
Like 16-year-old me never would have thought that I would be on the Vegas Strip. Like, no, I'm watching this show, Boylesque, by Kenny Kerr, and all these bevy of beauties who were men who looked like the stars, the Chers and the Madonnas, and they were legends. And I could not fathom, like, these are men? This is wild. It was so cool. And then 30 years later, here I am still doing drag and never thinking that was going to be my avenue. But here we are.
Yeah, and you know, RuPaul was on Salon Talks, and it previously said that drag in itself is about people not taking themselves too seriously.
Correct.
Do you feel that same way?
100%. Like, this is the like, no, we're not trying to give into the gender norm. This is our way of combating that and doing the complete opposite. Like, why does a gender have to be attached to anything? Because, you know, what goes on in your bedroom is your business. And so drag for me, this is why it's so important, because it takes all that out of the equation. And so now it's more of a human connection versus whether this is a man or woman situation.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Or gay and straight, you know what I mean?
Right.
It has nothing to do with sexuality.
Right. It's a larger thing.
It's a larger thing. It's bigger than me.
Exactly. And I mean, it is bigger than all of us because Drag Race has gone on for so long. How does it feel to be one of the pioneers of the genre? And
back in my day, when we were on Logo TV, now these girls are like, they grew up watching us, you know what I mean? And now they're becoming stars in their own right. But it's amazing to be a pioneer. It's amazing to be one of the most beloved queens in the world, you know what I mean? And still carrying the legacy and working. So I must be doing something right.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's paved the way for season 16 winner, Nymphia.
Right.
Amazing.
Amazing.
What did you think of her final performance?
Amazing. Oh my God. Like, she is, like, I knew that she was one of those girls who had a bag of tricks that she wasn't gonna let anyone see until the time was right. And she played it, her cards very close to her chest, and it worked. And everyone got to see a little bit of her come out and transform, like her insecurities, gone. Like, you can't tell me there's an insecure.
Acrobats.
What? Stunts.
Yes.
Reveals.
Yes.
Hair.
Splits.
Fashion. She's a forget triple threat. She does it all.
Yeah.
Like, so that's I love it. And she's self-sufficient because she's a designer and she sews and makes her own things. So like, that's a whole nother level of excellence.
Right. Thank you so much, Latrice, for being here.
My pleasure.
And everybody watch HBO's hit show, We're Here.
We're here.
Yes.
Thank you for watching Salon Talks. Be sure to subscribe as we feature some of your favorite artists, authors, and more. And while you're here, you might as well watch another video by clicking right here.